I am beyond excited for today's guest, who is Mia, a powerhouse UGC creator, creative strategist, and the CEO and founder of Creator Vault. After partnering with over 150 brands and coaching more than 250 creators, Mia saw firsthand how confusing and unfair the creator economy can be and decided to do something about it. She built Creator Vault to empower creators with transparency, community, and confidence, helping them avoid scams, secure fair pay, and thrive together. She is not just building an app, she is building a movement for creators everywhere. I cannot wait to dive in, so without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to UGC Pro, the podcast where creative strategy, UGC innovation, and freelancing success collide. I'm your host, Kelly Rockline, a self-taught creative marketer from the brand and creator side, with over a decade of experience working with hundreds of brands and driving over $500 million in revenue. Now, as a mentor to more than 10,000 aspiring UGC creators and creative strategists, I'm here to help you unlock your full potential. Whether you're here to sharpen your ad game or gain fresh insights to elevate your creative freelance business, you're in the right place. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, or habit stack. Is there a pile of laundry that you need to get through? What about unloading the dishwasher? Maybe it's a good time to go out and get some fresh air. Whether you're cuddled up on the couch or getting your steps in, I am so happy you're here. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so a big reason why I'm excited to have this conversation today with you is because when I first started doing UGC years ago, we didn't have an app like Creator Vault to be able to go to whenever we had client issues. I swear, in the early stages of my career, I went through the freaking ringer with terrible experiences, and I never knew where to go because there was really only Glassdoor. But what if the people that you worked for aren't even on Glassdoor? I would go to LinkedIn and I would air my grievances publicly. I can kind of get away with it. I can still hold brands accountable publicly if I want to. However, in the early stages of my career, I was doing this, and I do think it probably steered potential collaborations away. How did you end up coming up with the idea of Creator Vault?
Well, everything you just said are things that I went through as well. We really don't have anything like this. Like you said, there's Glassdoor, but that's more 9-to-5 companies that you can review your experiences working there. But there's nothing like Creator Vault out there, and I created it out of necessity myself. Just like you, I was falling for scams. I was getting ghosted after turning in content. There's nothing out there that protects us besides like DoPay, and she does something very different than what Creator Vault does. So I basically created it out of a need for myself, but also being friends with people like you and other UGC creators. I saw what a need there was, like a Yelp for content creators. So having Creator Vault be the middle ground between when you get an inbound or you're pitching to a brand to signing a contract, having that to vet them and just make sure what you're signing up for is not going to waste your time and energy later is so essential.
Kind of crazy when you put it that way. I look back on moments in the earlier stages of my career where after you go through a bunch of shit because of a terrible experience for whatever reason with a client, you end up feeling that way, right? Where you're like, I just wish I had known. I wish I had seen these red flags before. I wish I could have been warned, because it would have saved me the trouble of even being in this position in the first place. Because it gets to the point where you're like, this is too much of a headache. This is no longer even worth it. I didn't even realize, but Glassdoor really is for just 9-to-5s. Like, what is actually in existence that is the equivalent of a Yelp for creators? It really is just Creator Vault. So when you were making this, what was the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to, fuck this, I'm making an app because it doesn't exist and I'm tired of it?
I mean, it was a combination of things, like one of them being what you said. I'm just like you, and I would air my grievances online and it would affect my income and brands wanting to work with me. But I think the main like tangible problem was when I turned in content for 3 videos for $1,700. After I turned in the content, they ghosted me, like blocked me on email. I could never get in contact with them again. Like so many situations that I went through. Like I would also like fall for the scams where they say like pay for a product. Even if you are a victim in a situation, like if you get ghosted or if a brand steals your content or you get scammed, it will still reflect poorly on the creator to speak on that publicly. And if you are going through situations like that and you're posting on your Twitter or your TikTok or your Instagram, this happened to me, I'm so upset, blah, blah, blah. That just looks negative. And when a brand comes across that, it just turns them off because like they don't want to be someone that you're like talking about online. Not that that's fair or not that that's how it should be, but that's just how it is. So that was another reason why I created the app. I feel like the questions thread is the most used because it's very similar to Reddit, and being able to have like that quick answer from all types of content creators is really helpful. But yeah, I feel like it's helped a lot of us like vet brands before we fall for scams or just avoid situations that you and I have been through so many times.
I feel like I even saw a tweet recently where they had said, or maybe it was a post in the app, and they were like, dang it, I wish I'd looked at the app before accepting this partnership.
Yeah.
It would have saved me all the time and energy that I've dealt with this brand. And everyone knows that they're crap except for me because I didn't come to the app first, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like now, since it's been out for a year, like our database is definitely more full. There's just like very sad brands that everyone in the community knows not to work with. Like if you go to the scam thread, warning each other about who not to work with.
So when you think about content creators, how wide of a net do you want to cast with Creator Vault? Are you looking to have it be limited to exclusively UGC creators? Are you wanting to start widening that net with influencers? What is that current end goal that you have right now with who the user is of the app?
Definitely all content creators, so that includes influencers. I feel like right now, since I'm so deep in the UGC community, it's been easier to market, but it's definitely for all types of content creators. And I feel like once we get influencers on there too, it'll be just a very different ballgame in terms of what people are charging, and the transparency will be on a whole nother level. There is Fuck You Pay Me that talks about like rates for influencers, but that platform is very different than ours. Like I view Creator Vault as more of like a social platform and an advocacy tool. We want to target all types of content creators, not just UGC.
When you said it like that, it really does make me feel like it is more of a social app, because I've caught myself scrolling just to even read for entertainment. I've done that where I'm like, ooh, let's see like what the questions thread has to say today.
The questions thread is very much a social platform. Like it's very similar to Reddit, and I just love the anonymity of it. People are not afraid to ask any question, even if they think it's dumb. Being the founder, it's like very heartwarming, and I'm sure you can relate to see people using it and like engaging on it and helping each other. Like it is the most heartwarming feeling. And then the scam thread is just like amazing, and we have Do Pay like integrated into it as well, which is so cool.
I saw that. When I think of the two things I wish I had when I first started UGC years ago, is having Creator Vault to be able to just like suss out brands and also again air grievances and warn other creators, and then also having that legal support for someone that is literally just refusing to pay. I mean, it feels like a partnership that just makes sense.
I think I just literally texted Grace and I was like, do you want to be inside of Creator Vault? And she was like, yes. It just makes so much sense. Like, of course, we have Do Pay in the scam thread.
So when you think of aspects of the app, you mentioned the questions thread, the scam thread. Can you explain to anyone that is listening in or watching how you would use this thread versus this thread?
Yeah. So when you go to a review, you can see what type of creator the person is, how long they've been doing it, their age, their race, where they're located, what the collab was for, how many videos, where it was posted, what were the payment terms, and if it was an inbound or an outbound. This information is so important. When you go into partnerships, knowing all this information before, like knowing if a brand pays net 30 or net 60, knowing if they pay on time, knowing if they ghost. So having all of this information before even signing a contract with a brand will make your life easier. It's made my life easier. Another way that people can use the app that I feel like creators aren't tapping into yet is using it to pitch to brands. When you're looking for brands to work with, you go through Instagram or Meta Ad Library and you like scroll for ages. But if you just go on the review page and scroll on the bottom right corner, it's all these brands. Take that brand name, put it into Apollo and Clearbit, and then find the person of contact. Another way is using Creator Vault to negotiate. So let's say you just got an inbound from a brand. I actually did this yesterday. Let's say you got an inbound from a brand and you search them up in the review thread and there's a few reviews from them. You can comment on a creator's review and ask them directly, like, what was the rate that they gave you? How did you negotiate? So I feel like that is also an untapped way people haven't been using Creator Vault, like using it to negotiate higher rates.
Wait, okay, I love this because when you were talking about, oh, like this is how much they paid me for X amount of videos, that immediately came to mind, knowing that they're paying creators on average $300 a video or $400 a video. And if they quoted you $250, you can now go back to them and say, hey, my rate is normally $400, even if it meets them at the $300 of what, other creators that they were paying, they're now getting paid $50 more than what they were initially offered.
Exactly. So being able to know like what brands are paying creators before you even start the negotiation process helps us so much.
Thinking of it from an intersectional perspective, it's also, I feel like, giving creators of color leverage.
Yeah.
In the sense, understanding what their white counterparts are charging, being paid, creating that open dialogue to make sure that creators of the same skill level are being compensated that fairly.
The toggles of race and age and all that is so important. Like having those identities present is so important. Obviously, like I made those toggles optional. Like if people don't want that to be disclosed, they don't have to. But like sometimes they'll come across a brand where it's like all the reviews are by like white girls like under 20 or stuff like that. Being able to see that so clearly, which brands have a diverse roster of creators versus brands that like only work with white creators, like that's important to know as a creator of color. So many different ways that Creator Vault can help us.
Funny you mentioned the toggle options. So I actually recently just removed one, and in location, only because there's only one other creator that I know in Bend that is a UGC creator, and I don't even think she's on there, and she's Gen X. So I was like, this is a little too niche because Bend is so small that like when I code something, it showed Bend, Oregon.
100%. That's why I changed mine from New York to US.
Then maybe I'll change it to US. You had mentioned using it to pitch with brands. I think that this is a total slept-on strategy just generally. When you think about the price of the membership, even just what you're paying for the app to even just have access to knowing what brands are paying creators.
Oh yeah, just that aspect is worth what we charge. It's $12.99 a month, but you can make that back tenfold with one post. And I've done it before where I've seen like people post 5-star reviews for a brand and I'm like, oh, I want to work with that brand. And they'll take the content of what they've said in their review for like 2 videos for this amount. And then I'll pitch exactly that. And like my chances of landing that deal is so much higher because I have that information as opposed to a creator who's just pitching blindly. So I feel like it just gives you that back end information that you can't find anywhere else. It makes me feel like I'm one step ahead all the time.
Also, it's considered a business expense. It's already paying for itself, and then you're also getting to write it off during tax season.
Yes, that's so important to mention, yeah.
So when we're thinking about how a creator could be leveraging this app throughout the entire process of a brand deal, I would love it if you could lay that out for us from like literally the very beginning stages all the way through to the conclusion of this brand deal.
So let's say a brand reaches out to you. The first thing I would do is search them in the review section and see if they have reviews. Obviously, if they have really bad reviews, 1-star reviews, don't work with them. But if they have good reviews, then you can work with them. If they don't have reviews just yet, because we're still filling our database, go to the questions thread and ask, has anyone worked with this brand? You can know how they pay, what type of collab they usually do, where it's going to be posted, and you can take that knowledge into negotiating with them. Let's say the brand offers you $200 for one video. In the review page of that brand, let's say another creator left a review, you can ask them, hey, what did you charge for this collab that you did with them? They say, I charged $500 for one video, and they said yes. You can then go back to the email and negotiate a higher rate, and they will most likely say yes, because then you know they have a higher budget than what they initially proposed. You do your brand deal with them. If you have questions throughout the way, you can ask the questions thread. I need help with scripting. What's the unique selling point I can mention in this script? Any filming tips I can apply to this collab? Literally any question you have about the brand deal or just content creation, go to the questions thread. Treat it like Reddit. Treat it like your best friend. Like we all help each other in that thread. After the collaboration wraps up, go to the review page, leave them a review, give the flowers to the brand if they were great. If there were red flags throughout the process, highlight those. If they took your content and didn't pay you, write them up in the scam thread to warn other creators not to work with them. Any information that you want to give to the creator community to help each other out, put it in your review, and now other creators can look back on that review and apply it when they work with that brand.
That is full circle. I didn't even think about how you could go to the questions thread and you could ask for help. When I think about starting out and needing guidance, that's also almost like a community when you think about it.
There's people who just started. There's people who haven't started but want to. There's people like you, like the pros. You're getting a wide variety of guidance. And what I love about the questions thread is people will always respond. Like, I've never seen a question go unanswered unless it's like, I don't know, so niche. Obviously, you don't know who it's from, but being able to have that in your back pocket instead of like spending hours scrolling through Instagram or TikTok trying to find the answer to your question is so helpful.
So when you think about the long-term goals of what you foresee Creator Vault becoming and growing into, what are your short and long-term goals with this app?
I definitely want it to be one of the like main tools that creators use every day. Like, as much as I use Gmail or like Notion, I want it to be, and it will be, one of the main parts of a content creator's day-to-day tasks. Like, you could use it for one aspect and gain so much from having it, and then being able to have all these different ways to use it, it speaks for itself. And I feel like everyone who has the app knows how valuable it is. We're hoping to have coaches integrated into the app, wink wink. Other than that, we would love to have creators be able to apply to brand deals through the app. That's like a very long-term goal. Essentially turning Creator Vault into the one-stop shop for all content creators, hundreds of millions of downloads.
Oh, that's so exciting. And you said you just had your 1 year. So where are you at now as far as users, and whatever you feel comfortable with like sharing as far as growth goes?
Overall, we've had 7,000 downloads, which is for me insane. Obviously, that's amazing. Yes, awesome. It's really, really cool. We're growing every month. I now have 2 people on my team. I have an editor, and then Zin is my assistant creative strategist. So that's also been amazing. I feel like I'm still setting the foundation right now, because being in charge of the creative strategy for an app is very different than like the UGC and creative strategy I've been doing for like beauty brands, wellness brands, tech brands. So definitely still figuring it out, but we're in a really good spot, and I'm just so excited to see where it goes.
While juggling building the app, how has being like a UGC creator, creative strategist changed? Like, are you still doing UGC? How are you focusing on building Creator Vault while also existing in a capitalistic society? Yes.
I'm still doing UGC, definitely like full-time hours from the morning until like 1. I'm just focusing on collabs and filming and personal branding, all of that. And then the rest of the day is Creator Vault focused. I would be lying if I said I'm not struggling to figure out how to manage both at the same time, because UGC is kind of funding my life, but Creator Vault is like what I'm wanting to pour into. So I'm kind of balancing like, how can I do both while still giving a lot of my attention and effort into Creator Vault? I'm not taking creative strategy clients right now. I take like one-off deals for like a few hours of work. To answer your question, still figuring it out, because it is a lot, and I'm sure you could understand having like multiple things that you're building. It's really, really hard. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, and it's really hard for me to turn away creative strategy clients and UGC work, because that's funding my life right now. Yep. Generally speaking, if I'm not showing up to work and build UGC Pro, that month's revenue directly reflects that lack of effort. My brain is focused on other things, then the income for UGC Pro is impacted, even though I would love to have it switch. I would love my income to be mostly through UGC Pro, because it feels much more fulfilling.
I relate to that so much. It's really hard to balance. Sometimes I'm like, am I putting too much time into UGC? Like, should I be just going ham on Creator Vault? Obviously, you're in a very stable place with UGC, but like, I'm finally in like a stable place with income with UGC that I would feel wrong to kind of like switch gears completely. But then every app founder or just founder I talk to says that they just went full force, like attention only on the app. So that's what I'm grappling with right now. But what you said, when you take some attention off of your passion project, so for me, Creator Vault, like it very much reflects in the downloads. So like, I feel like I only put my head down with Creator Vault in June, like once I moved, because as you know, stuff kept happening in my life from like September to April, and I just quite simply could not focus on building something from the ground up. So I feel like now I'm actually giving it a shot, and it's been very rewarding, but I really relate to you in terms of like, it is hard to balance.
It's definitely not easy. I know this could be like a full-blown conversation in and of itself. You kind of mentioned how you deal with your days in the sense of like maybe half your day is dedicated to UGC, the other half is dedicated to Creator Vault. When you're juggling all these different things while also having ADHD, what are some things that you have implemented into your workflow that helps you maintain as much structure as possible? And I say as possible just because it's not perfect and it's always a work in progress. I know that that's probably a feeling that you share as well.
It's a battle every day. Well, first of all, Ritalin a few times a week, but even that doesn't like fully get rid of a problem. I take a lot of breaks. So I feel like most 9 to 5ers, like you have a lunch break for like an hour or 30 minutes. I work for like 30 minutes to an hour, take a 5 to 7 minute break, come back, take a 5 to 7 minute break. I take like 15 breaks during the day because it just allows me to focus better if I take some time off and then like hyper focus. I know you can hyper focus too. Yeah. And then other than that, I use Monday religiously, like monday.com. Everything that I have to do every day, like written down with my hand. For some reason, I have to have it by hand and on monday.com. Oh, morning routine is very important. Everything I'm saying right now, I'm not the best with it. Like today I woke up at 10 and like didn't do my morning routine, and like every day is different, but on a good day, that's what I do. But most days I'm, struggling.
I totally get it. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to be launching Recovering Sad Girl, another podcast dedicated to the experience of me personally being late diagnosed ADHD and autistic. So I would love to have a longer standing conversation around just like your experience as an entrepreneur with ADHD. And you're like, well, I'm naming all these things and I'm far from perfect. And it's like, girl, I get it.
Love to, and congratulations. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, I'm going to launch it January 2026. I was very optimistic like a year ago. I planned on launching it. It was like July of 2024. I don't even know why I thought that was possible, but here we are. I have my friend who's my producer and she's helping me manage it, which I'm really excited for. And I really want to take it seriously. The majority of our audience for UGC Pro is women. And so it's like women in entrepreneurial creative fields oftentimes are neurodivergent.
Oh, I need that because I feel like it doesn't exist yet. Like I listen to a lot of like entrepreneurial podcasts or like your podcast, but there's nothing that kind of mixes. I don't know. Sometimes when you have ADHD and you're an entrepreneur, it feels very lonely. Like I feel like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why can't I just lock in? So I'm so excited.
So let's go into some of your favorite posts from the app.
First of all, I love when anyone does like a hook in their post, like in the questions thread. Like I just saw one that says, whose ass do I have to eat to get accepted for a Vidsy brief? I love when people do that. I'll say one that I know helped a lot of creators avoid a scam, but at the expense of a creator falling for a scam. Someone said, I'm fuming and going to set fire to the rain. I turned in my content to this brand. It was a collab for $900, which I was going to use to pay off my fucking medical bills, and they haven't responded to me in 2 months. 2 effing months. I've emailed them 16 times. I'm gonna contact DuPay, maybe even send a demand letter, but what the fuck? I posted about this to Twitter and everyone told me to take it down because it's a bad look, which feels so unfair. Has this happened to you before? I'm actually so upset and embarrassed and pissed at myself for ending up in this situation. Oh, I saw one the other day where someone was like, I feel like I'm not pretty enough to like make content or something like that. And then all these people were commenting. Like, I just love that. That's why I feel like it's a social platform too.
Well, and also being an entrepreneur and like specifically in our field, it does feel very lonely at times, especially early stages.
100%. And I also feel like it's nice to like be involved without your face having to be attached to it. I see the questions popping off every day. So I'm sure all of the creators feel comforted that they can ask anything and not feel stupid to ask, because being able to ask an anonymous question thread is a lot more liberating than like having to comment under UGC Creator's post and ask a question. There was one under that where someone said, I'm about to sign a contract and it says payment is net $120.
That feels like a liability on a creator.
That's so insane. Someone wrote a review for Nick Castle's agency, Love. Well, 5-star review, it got 20 likes. Nick is the king of the castle. I've worked with him 12 times in the past few months, and each project has gone smoothly. Gives you creative freedom, great communication, easy to understand scripts. I've only scripted a couple videos myself. The majority has been written by his team. I always smile whenever I see an inbound from him. 11 out of 10 will work with him again, and that was from a 28-year-old Canadian white UGC creator of 3 years. I love seeing 5-star reviews because the agencies and brands who do treat us well deserve all the flowers in the world. Nick specifically, since he's such a hardworking creator and runs an agency and has a 9-to-5 and has kids, like, wow.
It's nice. I mean, even as someone like I've gone in and searched UGC Pro, and it makes me happy when I see people recommending us.
Oh, girl, people are recommending you like every week. It's amazing. I love it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of 1-star reviews, but I like seeing the 5-star reviews more. It's obviously more special. Here is another problematic one. A 1-star review for this agency. Worked as a contractor as a SMM for her. She currently owes me over $2,000. Kept saying she was going to send it and postponing. Literally changed all the passwords one day and ghosted me. Dupe has been commenting on her posts and she just deletes them. Always only said good things about my work too. Do not work with this agency.
Oh my gosh. Oh dang, and she has Grace involved.
But that's what's crazy is I knew that this was a problem, ghosting and scamming and treating creators poorly. I never knew it was this bad.
I think nowadays, because anyone can just like make an agency, like some of the wrong people got into the business for the wrong reasons, and it's insane. But I totally believe it, because I just think back to one of my first jobs that I got in LA. Project manager, he was given like a $20,000 budget from the client. He ended up spending it on flights to Vegas, gambling, and designer shoes and belts. And I literally in LA by myself had to go to the courthouse to do a small claims hearing. Even though he was court ordered, he still to this day, almost a decade later, still owes me like $2,000, which I know I'll never get back.
That's what I'm saying though, like content creators are not treated like people.
Yeah, they're not. And it's insane because content is king. Like, there is no excuse as to why you're not paying these creators, why you're not respecting these creators. If you don't have content that converts, you're not able to run ads.
Not to toot our horn, but we're like the core of their marketing strategy. So start treating it like it.
Exactly.
No, it's crazy though. When I scroll to the review page, I'm just very disappointed.
Yeah, and I could see also how you're like, well, the 5-star reviews, they like give me hope, because it's sad to see, but it's also reassuring to at least see that people are sharing their experiences to hopefully prevent this from ever happening again. And also when I think of like accountability, these brands and agencies, if they continue to get a bad rep, there are going to be creators that are continuing to trend them down.
Yep.
And then they're going to almost be forced into this position of, okay, do we take accountability and change our business practices? Or do we just struggle to find creators and can only get bottom of the barrel ones because they're the only ones that'll give us the time of day?
That's the goal. That's what I want Creator Vault to be positioned as, is like hold these brands agencies accountable so they either have to change how they're treating us or they will not work with us, point blank, period. That's the advocacy part of it. Like, we needed something like this to stand up for us.
So I have a question, because I know like any anonymous platform, Glassdoor, Yelp, even some subreddits have dealt with this in the past, where someone posts something, an honest experience. That honest experience is a bad experience. And so the person they're talking about, the brand they're talking about, sees this post and they're like, take it down.
Yeah.
Had you ever been in the situation where you have been threatened with legal action because of an honest, anonymous post made in the app?
Yes, we have. There is a law called Section 230 that protects platforms like Yelp, Glassdoor, any anonymous platforms. It protects me, the creator, from anything posted on the app. That being said, we monitor it every day though for hate speech, discrimination. There's been several times where we've had to remove posts because of that, like bullying and harassment. So we do monitor that. I have received some legal threats, some from UGC coaches, some from brands, some from agencies. And to that, we just say like, we have no control over what users post. If it's hate speech or discrimination, then we will take action. But if someone is reporting on their own experience, it would go against the whole purpose of the app for us to be monitoring and deleting what people are sharing. So in that way, we don't take action if we get like a legal threat from a brand or an agency. Now, if someone is spreading false rhetoric and the brand or agency can prove to us that they're just doing this to give the brand a bad rep, that's a different story. But to answer your question, yes, we have received legal threats and we have turned them down, because it's like if a restaurant said they were going to sue Yelp because they got a 1-star review. Like, what are we doing here, you know?
And I love that you already know that you're protected by all these sections and laws and everything that's in place, because literally what these people are trying to do, for lack of better words, is censor.
Yeah.
We don't want people to know that our agency has like poor relationships with creators. Well, if you're guilty of this and you have no receipts to prove otherwise, you are asking to literally negate the mission of this app.
Exactly. And obviously it's stressful to get an email like that. You know, it's part of being a founder of something anonymous, but we do take the hate speech and discrimination part very seriously. And there was a few situations where people were like bullying creators on the app. That was very difficult. We had to remove some posts. Sometimes the lines can be blurred, obviously, and like we're still learning that as the founders of an anonymous app.
It's just crazy when you think about people going out of their way to basically just threaten legal action because of an honest experience. So far in this experience, have you had to invest money into legal, anything of that nature?
So far, no. And I'm growing this all organically on my own. So yeah, no funding so far.
Well, I'm so glad that you were able to just push these threats to the side, because basically just empty threats. Yeah, if you know your rights, you know the right of the users on the app and like for the anonymous posting. So they would be wasting their time and money. A judge would just throw it out of the court.
But also, like, would you rather censor a user from having a bad experience with you, or like just change how you're treating the people who are investing in working with you or being a part of your mentorship? Like, just do better. Like, that's the whole point of the app. It's to protect us, but also teach brands and agencies and whoever's being reported on in Creator Vault to do better and like not treat us like we aren't people.
Okay, so how can anyone that's listening or watching connect with you, get a hold of the app? Like, what are the things that they need to click below in the description?
Right. So disclaimer, we're only on Apple for right now, so they can download Creator Vault in the App Store. If you want to leave a review, that'd be amazing. You can find me on socials at It's Cormenia. You can find Creator Vault on socials at Creator Vault app. That's where we are.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mia. I'm so glad that we got to do this episode together, and I really enjoyed speaking with you, having a conversation. And again, would love to have you on for Recovering Side Girl. Yes, the closer we get to recording those episodes.
100%. Love you, girl. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the UGC Pro podcast. I hope today's episode gave you inspiration and practical steps to apply to your business. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to hit follow, leave a review, and share it with another creator or marketer. And make sure to catch our next episode. Now, I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say you will not want to miss out. Until then, remember that success is a strategy and you are your most valuable client. So treat yourself like it. And lastly, if you aren't already connected with us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X, look up UGC Pro and be sure to follow along. And as always, I wish you the best of luck on your UGC and creative strategy journey.